Good morning. Thanks for the thumbs up already. How do artists self-regulate? Oh my goodness, that is a whole other topic. We've been doing self-regulation for this is the third week now because it's such an important way to describe. It's just such an important thing in this world that I think the lack of it is causing so much conflict and sadness and disconnection and oh just what's the word for not understanding each other, prejudices, all kinds of things. So here we are back again, self-regulating with qigong. Qigong, well, first of all, before I keep talking, let's go ahead and notice our breath. Notice our heartbeats. Notice how you're feeling. And tune in to you. Where'd you go? There was a couple of people here and you disappeared. I'm gonna go find you. Where are you? Where are you, everyone? Whew. How is everyone doing? All right, we got someone back in the house. So yeah, notice your breath, notice your heartbeats. We're gonna break it down. We're going to get more techniques for artists to self-regulate out there because there's unique challenges that artists have when it comes to self-regulation. And I'm going to break it down to the best of my ability. And there's so much I still don't know. All right. Notice your breath, notice your heartbeats. Too much glare. So once again, the two basic things that Qigong does for us to help us self-regulate is one, it helps us focus on tasks because you're practicing that focus by focusing on class right here. Thanks, board 24/7. So the more you can commit to class and focus on the routines as we do them, then you're developing your ability to focus. And then the second thing it does to help you self-regulate is basically 7 out of 8 of the self-regulation techniques If I face this way, then the glare isn't glaring. So basically just helping you breathe, helping you meditate, helping you nourish your body. That is all happening with qigong. And there's the glare, see? When we there's the glare. There's the no glare. When we're not regulated, or when we are regulated, we just have so much more energy to do so many things. And when we're not regulated, we sometimes don't realize it. We might say, "Oh, we just don't have energy," or um, "we just aren't motivated," or "we just feel icky." And we don't realize it's because we're not self regulated. So if we literally just take 5 minutes and do qigong, you might be like, "Oh my God, I feel so much more regulated now." This is another self regulation tool, the Bach flower essences. I give consultations. Holy cow, this saved me. I started doing these and it was like, I don't know, I just, everything made more sense. It was like this 3D reality became so much more multidimensional. Well, it's more than 3D, we know that. So, as we're waiting for everyone to get here, let's get in touch with our intention for the day. If you have a specific intention or what you need in your body, mind, spirit, emotions, please write that in the chat. My name is Aviva, and my intention is, again, self regulation, specifically catered towards artists in this class today. And so please share your name, your real name, and your intention for class today. Halloween was like a month ago. I don't even remember. Thank you for that thumbs up. Thank you for subscribing. And if you can donate, that would be amazing too. Let me grab that link for you. Let's see. Is this it? That's it. Oh, whoops. All right, this is the link for our cartoon fundraiser, which we still need to raise $3,000 for. I'm meeting with the cartoonists later today to discuss my progress. Maybe by the end of class we'll have something. I don't know. But here's the general donation page where you'll find my Cash App, my Venmo, all that good stuff. All right, I'll give you all a second to think about your intentions. I still don't see any intentions, but we'll get started in just a moment. I'll give y'all a moment. First raise. 4 times a day. Even just once is great. We talked about the analogy of turning off the oven in one of the classes, right? Really need to listen back on the classes. There's Lucy. Lucy's intention is to be free from shame and from second guessing what she needs to take care of her. Love it. Love it, love it, love it. Yeah, I think I went over all this stuff. Okay. I want to also review. Oh, waiting for Godot. You are an old man in a wheelchair and new here. Welcome. All are welcome. We do a lot of sitting stuff and we do a lot of mental stress relief. So thank you for being here. I appreciate you. And I do love that play, and it introduced me to eating raw turnips. um, I want to go over what self-regulation is. And as we're doing that, I'd like us to first breathe in our intentions, release anything in the way. Breathe in our intentions, release resistance. Again, I'm so grateful for you. Breathe in your intentions, release anything you don't need. And again, breathe in your intentions and release anything that's stopping you from getting your intentions. Release it. Let it go. Let it go. We're going to start with our creativity mudra as I begin talking a little bit more about what self-regulation is. Left thumb is on top for women. And then it's like thumb, thumb, index, index, every other finger like that. And then this is what a man's is, right on top and then left. Now this, I think, is the mudra that helps us to tackle anytime we're feeling guilt or shame from that has nothing to do with us. Like we have no reason to feel guilty. We did nothing wrong. But we sometimes feel like, oh, am I being selfish for taking care of my needs? This is what I think the best mudra is for that, because what this does is it spins your creative wheels. And when you're creating and in that creating dimension, then you realize that you creating the reality that is loving towards you is the absolute priority. So let's hold this mudra as I talk a little bit more, and then we'll switch mudras in a few minutes. I'm going to keep my eye on the clock. So let's talk about those two main goals with self regulation, which is staying on a task, completing the task, and not getting anxious about it, but just seeing it through and not letting the vocal gremlins try to get you to do other things. And then the other thing is to recognize if we're doing an impulsive coping mechanism, but it's causing deregulation. And so the two things that really help us with these two things, staying on task and not being impulsively deregulating, is patience and flexibility. So, one thing that makes it really hard for us to be flexible is resentment. And this mudra helps with resentment as well as any liver mudra. And I think when we're deregulating, we feel resentment sometimes towards ourselves because we're punishing ourselves. Like that guilt feeling is sometimes connected to resentment, and the shame is sometimes connected to a resentment that's hidden that we haven't addressed. Um, yeah. And so, just to go over what can help us self regulate besides Qigong, and like I said earlier, Qigong helps us stay on task. It helps us to not be impulsive with deregulation because we can choose to instead be impulsive by doing a qigong exercise or spraying ourselves with a bach flower essence blend or something else that vibrationally aligns us energetically, like qigong does. Because what we want to be doing is having a healthy self assessment and self monitoring instead of like a very critical, shameful one. Like just being like, hey, you're doing the best you can. Don't worry about it. The second one is the self talk, which can actually be also defined as self instruction. So we were talking about positive self talk, which is like, good job. Like just say good job. And sometimes it's really hard to say good job when there's outside elements that are stopping you from completing a task. And so you might interpret that as you're doing a bad job, but you're not. You're doing the best you can. And so then you can just change the instruction and be flexible. So instead of being like, okay, the instruction is you have to upload this video. Okay, your internet's not working. Okay, your new instruction is to fix your internet. Okay, it's taking too long and you have to teach a class. Okay, it's okay if I don't finish that right now. I guess I'm going to finish it later. And so you're constantly giving yourself instruction and you're being a nice teacher. You're a nice boss to yourself. You're not like, how could you not have finished that? It's like, no, we're just going to keep on changing the instruction because we are flexible and we're going to give you a solid instruction. We're not going to abandon you. We're not going to neglect you. We're going to find out what the new instruction is. And that's the other thing that happens when we're not self-regulated is we sometimes do nothing and we feel stuck because we don't know what the next instruction is because we're not self-regulating. So then there's the goal setting. Like, okay, that's a good self-regulation tool. Like, okay, what's my goal for today? What's my to-do list? What am I going to get done? And is it unrealistic? That's something to pay attention to. And then my first class, I think I focused on this the most, is the self-reinforcement. So, like, in addition to good job, like, you're really looking at your good, your gifts, and all the accomplishments that you've had in this world, which is challenging to do on a daily basis. Oh, it's been more than 3 minutes. We're going to switch to the confidence mudra, thumb to index and ring, and middle and pinky. So, when I think about this goal, middle and pinkies out, which is the self reinforcement, it makes me think of a couple of movies where I think there was a Drew Barrymore movie, 30 Days, not 30, something where she woke up and she forgot who she was every day. So they gave her a video and they're like, this is who you are, this is what you've done, blah, 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 blah. and this guy is the love of your life, you know? So I think that that is actually a parallel universe to what happens to us when we wake up. We forget everything that we've accomplished. We forget how far we've come and when we're not self-regulated. And we automatically go into, "Oh my god, how do I catch up? How do I how do I be worth something today?" Because you don't feel your worthiness to begin with. Or how do I, accomplish this thing that I've never accomplished before? How do I get acceptance in this world, you know? So instead of jumping into those deregulating thoughts, self reinforcement, you can put on that first class. I'll link it below, or just that short video about like, what are your gifts? Wake up and think about your talents. First thing, think, okay, when I first wake up, okay, I'm grateful to be alive. Yes. But also take a moment and marinate on your gifts and why so many people in their lives are grateful for you, what you've brought to so many people. Think about, the clients you've had who's, said, "Oh, you've changed my life." Focus on that good. You deserve it. Think about the good choices that you've made. "Oh, I could have, lied and cheated and stole something, but no, I chose to have integrity." Think about that. Think about how you've helped people and let that purify your heart as you start every day. And I think you'll feel that you have more energy to do things. You'll have more energy to attend to your needs without guilt, to allow yourself to relax, to allow yourself to eat a good meal and not feel rushed. You know, I really did get messed up by, my one of my first corporate jobs, like having to rush through a 20-minute lunch. Yeah, not fun. 51st day. We're going to move to our heart chakra mudra. We are going to stand in about 5 minutes and do our Wu Qigong form. Index to the bottom of the thumb to the middle, and the ring. But anyone who needs to remain seated, you can just edit the movements to include sitting down, and that's totally fine. Any challenge makes it harder to self-regulate in this world. But sometimes it makes it easier in some ways because you have to be more disciplined in some ways and more focused for your survival. Focus is very helpful. Um, okay. You know, my focus today is how artists have a very complicated self-regulating spectrum. And thank you, binaural Dean. I'm going to start off by saying, depending on what your art is, it almost feels like you have to be filled with energy to perform. A lot of us can get away with doing human tasks like washing the dishes, cleaning houses, um, you know, whatever it is we're doing. Even even the CEO of some corporations can sometimes get away with running meetings and all that stuff without being completely full of energy because you have specific, tasks that you're doing. But I think artists need to be almost overflowing with energy because they're creating things that are might be taking more energy. It's hard to explain. And your channel has to be clearer because in order to put out the expression that you're choosing to express, it's almost like you have to be in an altered state of mind in a way. But what I think that means is just clear, like just completely purified of all the distractions, completely. And you need to be so much more clear to produce that art, which is seemingly impossible to other people in some ways because it's like coming out of nothing. Um, and because of that, check this out, artists might be more prone to just block out this reality. Not only because you need more energy and need to stay clear and focused, but also because if you're creating a new reality, you don't want to be in this reality at the same time. And so you might need a lot more time alone and a lot more time not connecting to this world's energy to be inspired to create your energy. I mean, you could sit there and watch the news and you could sit there, and do all that stuff, but it might give you a creative block because you really need to unplug from this world to create something new and to not have that critic in your voice or the expectations. It's like you have to just stay clear and spontaneous to create. You're welcome. Um, so the the challenging thing, the negative side to blocking things out, the positive side is you're able to focus on your art and produce and edit a movie all night, you know? But obviously the negative side is that you can't process what other people are connecting with because first of all you're not even connecting with it because you're blocking it out. And second of all, you're not co-regulating with the people that aren't blocking it out. Does that make sense? Um, so on top of that, another thing artists suffer from is oftentimes excessive critical self-talk. And we do that for a lot of reasons that actually seem to benefit us. For example, we are perfectionists when it comes to our art. So we have this like button. It's like I almost see it like artists. I'm not trying to say artists are better than anyone. It's like we're all different. It's like we're all different creatures. Like, if we were computers, I just think artists might have a lot more buttons that need to be tuned. I don't know how to describe that. Um, and because we have these extra buttons, they can cause deregulation. If, like, for example, we might have the ability to be extra critical because we have to when we produce our art because we want it to be the best it can be. But then that gets turned on ourselves and we become extra critical of ourselves because we have that ability. And so we need to realize that we need to use that ability to benefit us, not to hurt us, because that's a deregulation. So when we focus on other people's opinions on our output, that's when it can become deregulating. Like, really try to focus on your own opinion of your creativity. But see, you put yourself out there in the world and all these opinions come your way, and it's hard to not pay attention to them and then change or just criticize yourself because of the opinion that's coming your way, which is completely subjective. So that's what artists deal with. It's not like, oh, the plumber fixed the pipe, so it's not leaking anymore. Good job, plumber. Oh, the artist sang a song and it moved me and I liked it. Good job, artist. But then there's Joe sitting over there saying, I didn't like that song. So it might have fixed one person's pipe, but not the other, right? So it's more subjective. And then we might build up really unrealistic expectations of ourselves, like for everyone to like us. Never, ever has there ever been an artist that everyone likes. There's always going to be people that like them and don't like them. And then you might like someone today and not like someone tomorrow. So it's unrealistic to have these expectations, and to have unrealistic expectations causes deregulation. So we have to just realize that our need for validation needs to come from other things, not our art, because we're not going to be validated for our art by everyone. We have to focus on our own validation of that. And I think the best thing to focus on, and why I think so many really, really great artists that I've met have this quality, I think what is most validating, was great to focus on as far as feeling validated, besides the output of your work, is first of all how disciplined you are and being proud of yourself for having a discipline and even spending a couple of hours a day on your art, but also just being kind, like just noticing how you treat others, your patience, your kindness, being a joy to people, like lifting people up if you can, you know, encouraging other people to express. I think that's a way you can validate yourself and receive validation, just by being kind to others. Um, and the other thing is if we can't validate ourselves, we have to find a safe space to be able to regulate and perform while a crowd is around us. If you're a performing artist, for example, that is so challenging. And how do you create that safe space for yourself? That's when um, it's tricky and magical and almost requires being in an altered state of mind. I was saying, it's like, I will say I am so much better at not only performing, but feeling good about my performance when I've eaten so well that day, or haven't eaten a lot that day, like just had fresh vegetables and fruits, because like the energy is so vital in me that I just feel like I can get to that higher energy level um, of performance when I've, done my qigong, done all my stretching and all that stuff. We're going to sit for like 1 or 2 more minutes and do the third eye mudra. Um, you know, at my performance Thursday was a crazy day. I got to tell you about that. Um, there was this girl who, probably like maybe 8, maybe younger, and she was playing the tambourine with me, and she said, "Well, can you, instruct me, point to me so I know when to play?" And I said, "Well, I'll just stomp my feet." And she was so good at following along. But when her parents started filming her, she had an emotional breakdown. So, I mean, it could have been a lot of different things going on, but what I'm thinking is she got up. I don't even know. I can't really guess what happened, but I feel like it has to do with a deregulation that happened because she was trying to stay focused on the task, and she felt like she couldn't focus on the beat because everyone was distracting her all of a sudden. Um, and so then I think her self critic came into her head, like, you can't do your job. You can't do a good job. I don't know. That's just my guess. Um, so the negative self talk stops your stops your emotional regulation in two ways: when you're having too high expectations of yourself and you feel like you can't complete your job. And it's hard to explain. Like, I remember being a kid artist and just taking things so seriously and just being so upset when I couldn't get people to co-regulate with my seriousness of how serious we had to be in order to get the job done. And I don't feel wrong for that. Like, I absolutely feel like in order to create that like magical space of performance for other people, we all had to be in it together. And I couldn't find people who were so willing to commit like that with me until I got to high school. Like, I remember they were just so casual about it and just wanting to have fun. And I was like so serious. I'm like, no, you guys have to know your lines. You have to memorize them. We have to know the choreography right on the beat. Come on, this is so serious, you know? And I think I still get like that sometimes when I'm like so serious. Like, I have to finish a song from start to finish. I can't stop in the middle. And, I've completely changed that. Like, when I'm singing out in public, like people start talking to me in the middle of a song, and a part of me is like, "You're ruining the song, like, this is, like, where the emotions happen, like, how could you, like, interrupt me singing?" But it's become this other thing where I just have to kinda let it go and be like, "Oh, they just came to socialize," like, they're not taking the art as seriously as me, and that's okay too, and that's part of it, and part of, my mission to just kinda uplift the space without necessarily having to do, like, this Taylor Swift show where the choreography is right on the beat and whatnot, and you jump in the stage, like, right when you get that. I love that stuff, I live for that stuff, but I have to realize, you know, it's not what I'm doing right now in these restaurant gigs and whatnot, and so I can get all this negative self-talk, like, "Oh, I'm just not good enough to be there, and people don't respect me enough," or I can just be like, "This is what it is, and I'm flexible, and I'm happy, and I'm grateful for even doing this," right? So, the one thing that you want to not do is have that negative self talk when those things happen. So, if you are that serious, like I am with the art and the high expectations, then it prevents this positive self talk. And so, you deregulate in those moments and have an emotional breakdown like that girl had, or like I sometimes had. Like, I've literally cried inside sometimes when people have interrupted me because I'm so serious about the art that I do. And so number two, it makes it hard for you to be present with other people. Um, if you have these really high expectations, it's like trying to move around the room with a knife in your belly and you have so much pain. And what ends up happening is you indirectly try to get the knife out of yourself through seeking validation in another way. Let's just do one more mudra. Let's do the grounding mudra and then we'll stand and do our Qigong form. So pinky to thumb and ring. So, okay, this is kind of something else. Um, Yeah, this is an interesting phenomenon that happens with artists. Um, so first of all, let's take that scenario where you're in a public performance, whether you're in an art exhibit and you're the artist showing your art, or you're the singer, or you're the dancer, or the actor, actress, and you're fulfilling this role of your art, and yet you're feeling like you're not doing a good enough job, and so that makes it not only hard for you to be there doing your art, but it also makes it hard for you to mingle with people because you've got this pain going on in your head like, I'm not good enough. I'm not delivering what I need to deliver. I'm not executing this. And it's weird. It's just a weird thing. And so just doing the qigong exercises and being aware of your flexibility and your patience and your positive self-talk and in being able to instruct yourself and say, okay, switch characters now. You don't have to be this unrealistic artist. You can just be loving yourself as someone who is expressing something fun for people, and just try to change the talk instead of being like, am I good enough? Will these people like me? Try to change it to, how am I bringing joy and love to these people? Why do they like me? Instead of, do they like me? Say, why do they like me? Well, they like that I can do this for them, and oh, I'm going to be annoying them with the music. It's like, no, you're going to be adding life energy to their life. You have to own it, right? So then the other thing that happens is what I was talking about with you, like, not even being, let's stand up and start the Qigong form, not even being completely conscious of not feeling like you're enough. And so what happens is when you have conversations with people, you have this indirect pain that you're not even wanting to be consciously aware of. And so you might have like diarrhea of the mouth, or let's bring our yin hand under the belly button, right for women, left for men, and then the yang on top, feet shoulder width apart, and bounce. Or you just start just kind of like dumping on someone or venting, or what's it called? Trauma dumping. Um, and you might do this with certain people in your life who you don't feel approved of, or who you feel like you like more than them. You might suddenly just get all short circuited because you're trying to get validation from them because you don't feel validated yourself for some reason. And so it's really important to be aware of that, because that is more deregulating for you. So if there are certain people that you suddenly like are like, oh, I need to prove myself to this person. This person does not approve of me, you know. So when I talk to them, I'm just gonna, just talk until they give me some kind of validation that will ground me. It's like, no, you can't. You got to be real clear with why you're even talking to someone, because when you're an artist, it's almost better to just not talk to people if you're in that state. Like, just be by yourself and find your art and express it, or do that inner child work, or do the meditation and take that time for you. um because the thing about artists, and I think I expressed that in another class, is like you literally have to do your self-expression and your art and your creativity. You're wired to have that gift because it self-regulates you. So if you're feeling not good enough to even do your own gifts, then it's like a double whammy deregulation. Not only are you not getting the regulation for the gifts, but you're not getting the validation from the gifts. You don't have to grab your foot like that. You don't have to have your unrealistic expectation of yourself easy. We're going to bring the bottom hand out face up and top face down and keep shaking. Okay, so it's actually, I think, really common. Okay, wait, did I finish saying all that? Okay, so you're indirectly trying to get that knife out of yourself through the conversation by seeking validation or oversharing or just running your mouth, like, because it's too painful to sit still. So when it's too painful for you to sit still, that is a really good time to do your art. That is a really good time to do inner child work, to spray yourself with Bach flowers, to do some primal screaming, some qi gong. And sometimes we just want to call people. We just want to talk to people. We just want to feel someone else's energy, because it is a good feeling to co-regulate with people and to feel connected with others. I mean, we're social beings. You might be scared in that moment. You might be triggered with some fear trauma. You might be scared you're going to die, and you just want to like reach to someone and, you know, maybe you have an on-call therapist, and that's different, and that would be good. But anyway, shake it out. Come to stillness after you shake it out. Relax your shoulders. You're just going to go back and forth, shrinking that shoulder down and then releasing it back and forth. So it could be like other people who experience this, but I think it's really common for artists because there is almost this function. Like if we were computers, and we weren't outputting the art that we were meant to be outputting in this world, it's almost like having leftovers in the fridge that starts to go bad. It's like you almost feel like, okay, this is ripe right now. I need to bite this peach. It is so juicy and yummy. And tomorrow, it's not going to be yummy anymore. And so I think we almost feel this sense of urgency. And that's why I'm saying don't don't give in to that pain of the urgency and call someone or get drunk or do something that kills the pain, because the reason why the pain was there was because it's trying to say, eat this peach now, write a song, paint, like do this now because it's ready for you. It's ready for your expression. And then our own self esteem might be like, you know what? I'm not good enough to express, or I just don't feel like it. I don't feel like it, mommy. I don't want to eat this broccoli, even though I know it's good for me. And we have these little temper tantrums. And I'm telling you, yes, the matrix therapy is amazing for that. If you're blocked, absolutely. I'm so grateful for that. The Bach flower essence, I'm so grateful for that. Also, just diving in and playing piano, diving in and picking up that paintbrush, so much more powerful than you realize in that moment. I know, but on some level, those are excuses, EC, because I've been there too. When I first moved to Atlanta, I had nothing, but I got back on my knees and I prayed. I was driving around, I was driving home from work, or sometimes I just do this. You just drive around in rich neighborhoods and you look at the trash pile. Guess what I found? I found a keyboard. I found a keyboard, I think in Decatur. It was just thrown out. There was nothing wrong with it. Nothing wrong with it at all. I got home, plugged it in. See, the thing is this is a magical world, and you've been given gifts to express. And if you don't have the instruments, they're going to find a way to you if you just really say and then claim it and say, this is what I'm here to do. Thank you. Can I please have a guitar? And you will be surprised how quickly that appears in your life. You will be surprised. Rotate that left shoulder back a few times. Okay, so this is what happens when you don't express your art and instead you like fart on people, right? You just like start complaining to people. Oh, I don't have this, I don't have that. I don't know, woe is me, right? You will start to deregulate and literally start to feel like the whole world hates you. You will. I think artists more than others. I mean, I think a lot of people can feel this way, obviously, but I think artists uniquely have this dilemma more than others where something switches in their brain and they think everyone hates them. And they think, and I don't know, okay, it's basically like because your positive self talk gets cut off, suddenly your negative self talk is projected on everyone. So suddenly you think all these people think I suck because you think you suck in that moment. Hi, Haley. Yeah, you can ask whatever you want. I don't know if I can answer it. Yes, yeah, coping mechanisms can be deregulating mechanisms. So it can literally be like flipping the Othello board. Like when you suddenly stop that negative self-talk and you suddenly switch it to the positive self-talk, you'll suddenly think everyone loves you. Like you'll go from feeling like everyone hates you to everyone loves you. Okay, we're slowly bringing the arms up and just letting them. Or just being practical and being like, okay, a lot of people love me and some people hate me, and that's okay too, right? But just realizing that oftentimes the reason why you think you get in those moments where you think everyone hates you, no one supports you, no one loves you, is literally because you are thinking that about yourself. And it's hard to hear that sometimes because you think, "Well, no, I love myself." But it's like, but do you? Like, are you taking care of yourself? Are you cleaning your house? Are you doing your laundry? Are you doing your dishes? Like, are you loving yourself? Are you complimenting yourself? Are you goal setting? Are you encouraging yourself? Are you reinforcing yourself and your gifts? Or are you dependent on others for that and you think others need to be doing that for you? Because you can't depend on others for that. You got to trust that you've been given your gifts because you deserve them and you're special and you can express them just as you. And nobody understands you like you understand you. And you don't even understand you all the time. And nobody can give you the tools that you need, like, unless you know what you need. And then once you realize that and you start getting your needs met, you're like, oh my God, all this support was around me. I did not even realize it. If you can't answer this, that's okay. You're pregnant and feel tight. I think this movement is the movement for you, I would guess, Irish life. So now I'm going the other way. Like, I feel like I've never been pregnant, but I have suffered with benign tumors, actually, fibroids, which expand my uterus. And this is one of the movements that helped me the most. And so, if you've never done Tai Chi or Qi Gong, you might think, oh, this is just physically moving my arms up and down. But when you start to feel, yes, absolutely, Haley, thank you for reminding me of your name. Haley, when you bring these, when you bring your arms around, you want to really try to feel the energy. Because even if you don't have space from your skin, for all this is beautiful baby to expand itself, and it's scary because you're like, oh my gosh, like this is pushing against my organs, this is pushing against all this stuff. Like, literally, when you get into that qigong energy, you can almost feel like a molecular stretching, like a micro opening, which makes all the difference. It's like all the cells of your body have a little bit more breath, and that's what we're creating here. So I'm not a yoga teacher as far as, like, you know, I know there's certain things you shouldn't be doing. I think you're not supposed to be doing downward dog, but check with your doctor about that. But all of this slow moving qigong is so good for creating space in your whole being and for just kind of getting all the puzzle pieces to fit together. And I think talking to your baby really helps too, Haley. Like, hey, like, can you just like move a little bit this way? Is that okay for you? Like, that'll feel more comfortable for me. Or and also just being aware of that life creates, I mean, I'm sure you do that already. It just creates more of that symbiotic relationship that's going on. What a miracle, huh? Hmm. Nice. Also, some people recommend shea butter. All right, we're going to hold the yin hand over the head first, right for women, left for men, and the other on top of that. Fingers spread and feel that energy pour into your womb or your lower dantian. I mean, I've got pregnancy on my mind. Oh, your baby loves you. Your baby's saying, hi, 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 hi. Feel that energy pour into you. So shea butter supposedly helps the body expand, like be more elastic, the skin. So it supposedly like prevents stretch marks, shea butter and cocoa butter, because it's like massaging into that tummy area and just making more elasticity. So you have to kind of stay lying down. Feel that energy pouring into you. Thanks for being here, Haley. It's nice to have the pregnant miracle of life energy shared with in this sacred space. You're ready. It's so exciting. You're gonna bring your arms down to the side, open up, and relax the shoulders. So, we've been talking about self regulation for a couple weeks now. Come to stillness. Now we're going to connect with earth energy. So, you got to pee a lot. Well, maybe doing some bladder exercises might help you. I can show you some specific bladder stuff. So, actually, the whole next section of this Wu Gong form helps with the bladder because it helps with everything from the waist down. So, there's probably a million classes we can do on self regulation while you're pregnant, which is a whole other story. Today's class, we're focused on self regulation if you're an artist and the complications of that and being patient with yourself. Because, well, I'm going to get into more stuff that deregulates us just because we're artists and the special needs that we have. And so I think it's very similar to pregnancy because when you're pregnant, you're like making a baby, and artists are making babies in their own way, and they need to, brew on things and marinate on things and birth on time, or they have labor pains. Mm. Oh yeah, no, you pee so much more when you're pregnant. So normal, because yeah, your bladder's smaller, so you gotta like. I mean, the bladder's not smaller, but it's squished. Um, and there are certain things that can help you, like I think if you don't eat as much salt, that might help. Obviously, staying away from caffeine can help. Aw, it's good that you see the funny side of it, Haley. Okay, so we're gonna start our ankle rotations in this part of the form. You're gonna lift that left heel, bend both knees, and rotate that left knee towards the right. Were you the one that popped on a few months ago who was pregnant? I have a hard time remembering names, so. So I was talking about how artists specifically can slip into the everyone hates me mode because of the negative self-talk. And what I didn't go into is why we're more prone to negative self-talk. And there's a lot of reasons for that. One of them is we generally often don't live up to society's expectations of what a person should be like because we have our completely unique lifestyles in order to produce the art that we produce. And so if we don't embrace our uniqueness and love us for being different, then it's more often that our relations is gonna uh, not adequate. Example, there's a lot of poverty in the artist lifestyle, which can be scary as well because you're putting all your money into your art, which doesn't always get money, right? Gotcha. It must have been someone else, Haley. There also might be difficulty in having a normal relationship because of how much energy you put towards your art. A lot of us artists call our art our first love. And our partners might feel like they're second. And with enough communication, I think it can obviously work, but it could be more challenging, like a lot of musicians I know. Okay, lift the other heel and rotate to the left. We have gigs on New Year's and Christmas and holidays that is family time, and they feel neglected maybe, and they want you to do like typical relationship stuff, and even like celebrate, even celebrating the anniversary and stuff like that. It can be more challenging when you're like constantly focused on getting gigs, and anyway, it's just more to juggle. um Also, the time limitations, okay? So, when you're an artist, just like being pregnant for 9 months until the baby's ready to come out, so much time. It takes so much time to produce even just one drawing sometimes, or a, a masterpiece of music. Okay, we're gonna go the other way. Like hours of studio time, like not only in the actual life, but also in the training of it, in the school of it, right? So that's just one other thing that can twist up your positive self-talk, is that there's not enough time to do stuff, to produce stuff. And yeah, like I said, we're focused so much on creating a new thing, a new world, that connecting with this world becomes perhaps not as much of a priority, because we can't find our happiness here, um, if we're not expressing our gifts. Make sense? So, in addition, because of the time restraints and how much time it does the art, it might be harder to do normal tasks of cleaning, laundry, even eating. I know so many of us who just like get in the zone, right? And don't eat for a day. And we have to figure out how to self-regulate and still take care of ourselves while we're doing our art. And it's all a balance. All right, so we're going to bring our knees together, thighs together. We're going to rotate to the left. Thanks for all the thumbs up. I really appreciate y'all. I do want to stick in the chat one more time the donation link to all these different ways you can donate. And of course, you can become a member of my channel. I have a goal by December 1st to get 10 members. I've got one right now, so I've got 9 to go, and it's just $2.99 a month. And that just supports me putting out these 2-hour-and-a-half classes every week. So if 3 hours of qigong is worth, let's see, 3 hours a week, 4 weeks, 12 hours, $2.99. So it's like 2 cents an hour if you pay $2.99 a month. That would be amazing. All right. So what I've come up with for this class are some self-talk affirmations that we can do so that we don't think the world hates us when we're an artist doing all these weird things in order to self-regulate. And I'll put them in the description below as well after I get feedback from you, and let you, so you can let me know if this actually helps you, right? Okay. Feet shoulder width apart, and maybe you all will come up with some that, I'm sure you can come up with some that I don't know. And now we're going to just sway back and forth, just like helping all the weight come to one and then the other. And honestly, my true goal out of all of this self-regulating as an artist is to build an artist village together in every state, like where we can help each other take care of our basic needs while creating our art. And that was how the Renaissance happened, I believed years ago, is because the community was supporting each other and supporting artists in ways that hasn't happened since then, or we would be living in a Renaissance. And so if we can create these artist villages, I think they've tried with like the goat farm here, and different places, but it just hasn't quite had all the perfect ingredients. The soup just has not been perfectly yummy yet. All right, still just sway back and forth here. Okay, self affirmation number one. Not everyone can understand me, and that's okay because I don't even understand me because I have a connection to spirit so unique. And in order to let it flow, I need to remain judgment free and let it be. The reason why I think this is such a good affirmation is because you're literally saying criticizing myself is stopping my ability to be an artist. Because if you can't stay judgment free and if you can't let it be, then you can't be that clear channel for your art. So I'll say it again. Not everyone can understand me, and that's okay because I don't even understand me because I have a connection to spirit so uniquely. And in order to let it flow, I need to remain judgment free and let it be. What do y'all think about that affirmation? Sway back and forth. Number two, I have amazing amounts of energy in order to complete my artist goal. Some may be jealous or in awe or confused about this or call me weird, but it's not my job to explain, and I love it. And I've been given this energy because of my hard work, discipline, and gifts. What do you think about that one? I have amazing amounts of energy in order to complete my artist goal. Some may be jealous, in awe, or confused, or critical, or say I have some kind of mental disorder, but it's not my job to explain, and I love it. And I've been given this energy because of my hard work, discipline, and gifts. Y'all like that? Give me a thumbs up if you like that affirmation. Okay, come to stillness. Connect with the earth. Open up under your arms. Number three, it is okay to be different from everyone and to celebrate it. And this is how it has to be if we're paving our own way in this world. We can create spaces that nurture these differences, and it's not anyone's or this world's fault that it's not handed to us on a silver platter. What do you think about that? It's okay to be different from everyone and to celebrate it. And this is how it has to be if we're paving our own ways in this world. We can create space that nurtures these differences, and it's not anyone's or this world's fault that it's not handed to us on a silver platter. Number four, I can surround myself with people I can be myself around. Now, when you find yourself with the diarrhea of the mouth and trying to prove yourself and blah, 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 you might be around people that you can't be yourself around, or you just might not be able to be yourself in that moment because it's like you're having this artist constipation energy going on. So, in addition to that affirmation, I can surround myself with people I can be myself around, and I can truly be myself around myself. Some of us can't even do that, right? Okay, number five, I'm allowed to take space for me by myself so I can regulate. And it's essential for my well being, which is doing a good job as an artist. So, not only is regulating essential, but you can tell yourself when you're regulated, it's way easier to have that self positive talk saying, good job, you're regulated. That's a big accomplishment as an artist. It's a huge accomplishment to stay regulated because you're emotionally so sensitive to everything often, unless you're numbing out. So again, number five, I'm allowed to take space for me by myself so I can regulate, and it's essential for my well-being, which is doing a good job as an artist when you are regulating. Number six is really, really simple. We're gonna stand here for just another moment for the bladder. Number 6 is I can feel good about my creations without being validated, praised, given money for, or given attention for them. Get it? I can feel good about my creations without being validated, praised, given money or fame for, or given attention for them. And sometimes the opposite happens, like in the case of the girl with the tantrum. Sometimes, if you're given attention for your gifts, too much attention, it might cause deregulation. So, this is a really important affirmation. If you feel really good about your creations, then it's more of a chance that no matter how much attention you get, a lot or a little, it won't devalue you. Because, like I was saying in my last class, I'm being inducted in the Hall of Fame for this one music organization who says that they've, heard my music, but I feel like it's a little bit of a lie because, it's a money making thing. Any rewards thing is kind of like, give us money and we'll give you a reward, or we'll give someone a reward. Someone's making money off of it. It's all promotion. It's not real. It's not real connection with what your art really is sometimes. And it's just hard to juggle all that and regulate it. But if you just say, I just feel good about my creations without being validated, without this award show, I still feel good about me. I don't need your praise, but sure. I don't need to be given money for them, but but I got to work on being a businesswoman so I can regulate and have the money that I need. Right. But it doesn't necessarily mean that you're, you know, that, you know what I'm saying? I can feel good about my creations without being validated, praised, or given money for, or given attention for them. It's not about that. It's about creating. You know, when you have a baby, you're going to love that baby no matter what. Hopefully. You're not like, oh, I would have loved my baby so much more if their nose was a little different or if they had blue eyes instead of brown. It's like, no. When you create something and you're connected to spirit with that creation, then you love it and it feels good to you. Sure, you could develop and make things better in the future, but you feeling good about it is like being grateful for having a baby. Okay, so this one is really, really long. Number 7. I remember writing this and being like, oh my God, this is not an affirmation. This is like what do you call it? There's a word for it. All right, let's go on to the next part of the form, which is alchemizing humanity. This is another really good one, I think, to help with stuck energy in the womb area, in the hips. You're going to bring your hands in front of your belly button, about 2 fists, and hold it there. Anyone who's just stopping by, shopping by, we are self-regulating with artists today, especially the unique artist lifestyles that people lead. We're going to rotate the hips around, keeping the hands the same distance, following them around the circle. Okay, so this is the 7th affirmation. I came up with 10 affirmations that could help artists self-regulate. Okay. If an emotion comes up, it can be processed through my art, and it is a gift. The mystery of my agony will clarify as I take the time to work on my art, and all will be well. This does not mean I need to resolve the issue around the person, because it's often in their subconscious and incapable of talk processing and needs the alchemy of music, art, writing, or another expression. And your hyperfixation on it is a clue to create until you feel relieved of that agony that the connection or projection triggers of negative self-talk. Often, this someone may literally, through a psychic, may literally have thrown a psychic knife at you because they have no way to process a pain that you've already proved your abilities to process on. And what this reminds me of is how people kept giving Rapunzel hay to turn into gold because she had these special abilities. I feel like that's what artists do. is they take these mundane emotions and they make not only sense of them, but usually something beautiful that just fills our spirit with so much joy and makes us want them to do it again and again. And it seems to us to come from like their special gifts. And it's easy to take for granted that they put a lot of work into it, you know? And so, all right, let's go the other direction. So, artists, a lot of artists I know are so giving because they have these gifts and they do seemingly spin gold out of hay, and everyone wants that energy. And so, because of that, you have to, first of all, stop acting like you can just give it to everyone because they're just going to take it. You know, stop flaunting it. Stop bragging about it. Stop saying, "I can do this for you and I can do that for you and I can make this happen for you." It's like you're going to have to start monetizing at some point because you got to make a living, right? It's like how I used to sing for free everywhere I went. Okay. But secondly, you can say no. You know, you can, even if you've offered it to someone, you'd be like, "You know what? My bad. I did offer you this thing, this painting that I said I was going to give you, and I do want to with my heart, but I got to be real. I have realized that I need to start at least monetizing the hours that I spend doing things for people, even if it's just $10 an hour. I have to eat, I have to pay rent. So I'm going to say no." Now, of course, it would be easier if you didn't offer it to begin with, but you can say no. Like, "I'll do this for you, but I need money." And so you can basically, you know, even if it's like a subconscious psychic thing, you just lay that straw, that hay back in front of them and say, "You can spin your own gold. I believe in you. You don't need me for this." So that was number 7. If you want me to read it again, let me know, but I'm going to go on. There's 3 more. I just wanted to come up with 10 affirmations for artists to reverse the negative self-talk at the end of these affirmations. I think that you will. Okay, so number 8 is really simple. It's just everything will be okay. Art is a process. We're going to open up our legs wide, bend over, and lift the arms back and forth. Number 9, I think about all I've accomplished this far in life, and though I may not be rich and famous, I'm amazed at my own creativity and creative expressions and how they've helped me and others process life and add beautiful expression to this life. All of you artists know this is true about you. So when you get down about yourself, please say, affirmation number 9, I think about all I've accomplished thus far in life and even all you've survived. And though I may not be rich and famous, I'm amazed at my own creativity and creative expressions and how they've helped me and others process life and add beautiful expression to this life. And this is the thing, nobody expects you to be rich and famous as an artist. I mean, if it happens, it happens, but you can still have a very successful career without being millionaires and without being famous. See, that's an unrealistic expectation to be like, okay, the only way to be successful is to be rich and famous as an artist. See, that's the illusion of mainstream media, which needs to change if we're going to have a renaissance, right? And the final affirmation is, I don't have to fit into this world, and I can't fit into this world if I'm creating another one. Okay? Artists out there, when you're negatively talking to yourself because you feel like you don't meet society's expectations, say this affirmation. I don't have to fit into this world, and I can't fit into this world if I'm creating another one. And that's okay. I don't have to fit into this world, and I can't fit into this world if I'm creating another one. Isn't that just okay? What do you think about these 10 affirmations? Any questions? We got about 10 minutes left of class. Are you still with us, Haley? Who's still with us so I know whose intentions I can address for the remainder 10 minutes? Okay, y'all. We are going to do 5 minutes now of the Wuji. So for 5 minutes, you're just going to feel the chi and move around with it. And I'm going to step away so you don't do what I'm doing. Like, just really feel your own chi. And I'll be back in 5 minutes and see who is still here so I can direct the last 2 minutes of class towards your intentions. I'll be back. One more minute of the Wuji. How y'all feeling? Okay, we're gonna do something for the kidneys and the bladder real quick. You're gonna step with your right foot, bring the right hand forward, left back, and then the left hand forward, right back, and then the right. Waist level with the hands. You're gonna step with the left and do 3 passes starting with the left. Halusona, and then right, and then left. You're gonna step again with the right and go right, left, right. Step with the left. This is very building of the chi for the bladder and kidneys. Again, stepping with the right and the right hand first. 1, 2, 3. Then the left. Left, right, left with the hand. Step with the right, right hand forward, left hand forward, right hand forward, and then the left, left hand forward, and then the right, and the left. Step with the right, right hand forward, and the left, right, and then the left side, and then the right again, right hand forward, left, right. Step with the left, left hand forward, and then right, and then left. Step with the right, right hand forward, and left, and right. Step with the left, left. Excellent. Good job today, y'all. I really hope this helped you artists out there as well as everyone, whether you're an artist at night or not. Maybe it helps you understand artists, or maybe it helps with you. Maybe you didn't realize you had these similar artist regulation characteristics in your energy. So we're going to go ahead and thank the ancestors and all the lineage holders of this qigong knowledge. Thank you, 谢谢宗师. And we're going to go ahead and thank all the teachers of all of these kind of esoteric arts. 谢谢老师. We're going to fill our hearts with gratitude and compassion and spread this out to everyone we encounter, especially ourselves, and just the whole universal consciousness. Thank you for shining your light. Thank you for the light that shines within you. And thank you for being on for the world to see your life energy, not dimming it, but shining. I will see you Wednesday. If you liked this class, please give it a thumbs up. If you'd like to donate, once again, I have that link in the chat. And you can also just press the money button on the chat if you'd like to give back $1 or $2, whatever works for you. It's a free class, so don't feel obligated. And I look forward to Wednesday's class at 1:30. And absolutely, Lasona, thank you for your gratitude. That I love that energy. And yeah, be sure to check out some other classes if you liked the theme of self-regulation. I think this is our fifth or sixth class on that, so you can look back in the last couple of weeks and check them out. Anyway, I'll see you Wednesday, gorgeous people. Wednesday at 1:30.